Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap The Quad, Season 2, Episode 4, I think, which was titled I'm Not Your Negro. Now, you guys remember when the show went off last week, after Eva had a role play with that guy in that baby onesie outfit that was, feeding him the baby food and all that. The show ended with her collapsing as if she was having a heart attack or she was having a medical emergency. So when the show starts back up, I'm thinking we're going to deal with that situation, but we have like little flashbacks. So Eva's actually on her way to work and she's having some flashbacks to the night before where the paramedic showed up and basically told her she wasn't having a heart attack, that she was just stressed out. So at first I missed that. So when I looked up at the TV, she was getting pulled over by the police. And so I was like, well, dang, was she dreaming that she was having a heart attack, or is she dreaming about the police situation? So then I go to bring the show up on the app yesterday morning, and it wasn't on the app. Waited later on last night, wasn't on the app. Got up this morning, it still was not on the app. I was like, BET has the worst app of all the television networks. So then I remembered that they also have it on the website. So I said, well, let me go see if they got the current episode on the website. So sure enough, they had it on the website. So I had to watch it from my I watched it from my tablet, but it's just annoying that I couldn't just bring it up on the app. So that's how I saw the little short version of them doing the flashback and everything. So basically, this episode could have been a tribute to Sandra Bland because Eva was driving through this low-income neighborhood. And I guess it's the way that she goes to get to work, because normally the college campuses are built in poor neighborhoods because it's easier for them to go in and claim eminent domain, take over the land to expand and build these institutions. Because we have that same situation here in St. Petersburg. Like, people don't know that the university downtown, which is my alma mater, USF St. Pete, is about to just keep building and building and building and pushing and pushing and building until there ain't nowhere else for them to go. But anyway, so I guess it's a heavy drug area. So the guy pulls her over and just being the typical asshole. It was a white cop. Actually, it was two white cops. But the one, he was just being nasty and trying to agitate the situation. So how we had with Sandra Bland. So he gets Eva, pulls Eva out of the car. So Eva punched the man. Now, she knows she was wrong, but remember, the police officer in the Sandra Bland case said that the reason he arrested her was because she attacked him, and that's why he took her to jail. So they get Eva to the jailhouse, and she refused to do a sobriety test, because they were trying to say that even though she was driving this Jaguar and was all dressed up in these nice designer clothes, she was coming through this high drug area. So no, she may not have been a crack addict, but she could be looking for opioids and, pain relievers and that type of drug. So because she refused to do the sample, they done went and got a court order from a judge saying that they can take her blood, against her will. So they drag her out of the holding area, and it was like this room, this dark room, looked like, how where they do the executions at, or the lethal injection. So it was just a bed in the room, and they had the braces on the bed to like brace her down. So it was about 6 male police officers drag her into this room. She kicking and screaming, no, you don't have the right. I don't consent to this. They throw her on the bed. They strap her down. She's still trying to fight. Then one of the guys gets up on the table and like straddles her. I just felt so violated watching that scene because I'm like, is this really happening in jailhouses across America? Is this what we doing to people? So they had a black chick in there who was actually going to take the blood. And so, she was being complicit and like, this my job, this what we do, this what I get paid to do, get my paycheck. So it's just like, oh my God. So then Eva kept fighting, so they was trying to hold her arm still so the girl could stick the needle in her arm. And then the guy who arrested her, he actually like tilted her head to the side and like had his elbow down, like holding her across her neck, to keep her, to get her to stop fighting. And I was just like, I just feel like they have violated so many of her civil rights at this point. Like, it is unbelievable. So at the same time that she's being processed at the jail, there was something going on at the campus, and Roland Martin had showed up to do a radio show talking about, I guess they were on the campus talking about them trying to tear that building down or whatever, but he was talking about what it means to be a HBCU, and so he's interviewing this the students. So then there was a scene with Cedric and Ebonie where they get the bickering back and forth and everything about music. So he was like, okay, well, y'all got too much drama going on, so let me go and walk over here. So while all that was going on, he sits down and he was like telling his audience, he said, well, I was supposed to interview President Eva Fletcher, but she's not here. But now I'm getting word that she's been arrested, and video is coming up on social media. So now everybody checking their phones and looking all around, like, what's going on, and seeing where people that were on the side of the road were filming what was going on. So then we have a scene where the Eva and Jason, so now to get back at, so you guys know, to get back at Eva, Jason has decided that he's going to try and hook up with Sydney. So they are off talking, sitting down talking, and, he putting the charm on her, like, I understand your situation. I don't want to push you or press you, but I am interested in you. And I'm just like, Jason, you are so damn crazy. Like, Sydney, you think that boy last season had you messed up? Jason about to show enough mess you up. So the guy, what's his name? The one I said I was going to get his name so I could stop asking y'all what's his name. Is it Will? Okay, I promise you guys I'm going to look the name up for you, and I'll put it on the video, let you guys know what his name is. But the one that likes her, that's over the fraternity. But anyway, he gets the video, so he goes running over to tell her. So, Sydney being all nasty, like, don't you see I'm busy? He was like, but you need to see this. Your mom's been arrested. So he shows her the video. He said, come on, we got to go down to the jailhouse. But Sydney, being all Sydney, she just get on my nerves too. Every show has had that one person that just really gets on your nerves. So then she go turn to Jason to tell Jason, oh, can you take me down there? So she goes down to the jailhouse to see what's going on with her mama and demanding that they release her mama right now. So it's like, Lord, Sydney, it don't work like that. So I think before Sydney got down there was a scene where they brought Eva out after drawing the blood, and Eva was talking to this black police officer, and she was like, you guys violated me. That wasn't necessary. How do you treat another human being like that? And the lady was like, well, I know, how it made you feel, but, it's legal. We're able to do that when people won't, voluntarily give their specimen. So then Eva, was telling them, like, I need my one phone call. So the lady was like, you haven't had your phone call yet? So then the guy who arrested her, now I can't figure out if he the police chief or he run that station, that precinct, or what's going on, because this is where the writing gets a little iffy. And I know I mentioned to you guys before that I think this show is based off of Grambling State University. Remember last week they gave the shout out to Grambling State. But now Grambling is in a little small town that if you miss the exit on the interstate, you will be in the next town. Like it is so, like the university is the city of Grambling. And so sometimes when they're writing these scenes on on the quad, they're writing it like it's in that little small town where the college is the town, and then you might have a few residents and apartments and stuff. But GAMU is supposed to be in Atlanta. So I don't know, they just like keep kind of mixing it up on the writing. So this guy is supposed to be the police chief, but he wouldn't be like a police chief in a city the size of Atlanta would not be. Would he be stationed at this little substation near the college university? Because I know our police chief here, he's at the main police station, but it's a big police station, and we have hundreds of police officers. So I don't know, a little confusing. But anyway, he walks up and says that, Eva will get her phone call when he says she get her phone call, and then he's just like intimidating her and all up in her face, and then they eventually take her to the holding cell. And this is the kind of situation. So you had these black police officers, these black female police officers, and they're just standing by allowing this man to treat this person like this. And so that's what people mean when they say you no longer can wear the title of a good cop when you stand back and be silent. You then become the bad cop as well, because you won't speak out on the injustices. And then they also, when the show came on, after I went back and rewatched it and got a little context on what was going on with Eva, when the show first came on, there was a guy sitting in a dark room and he had a hoodie on, so like Trayvon Martin, and he's watching an interview on TV, and the interview was of Eric Garner's mother. Was it his mother? I think it was Eric Garner's mother, and she was being interviewed, after they murdered him in New York. Remember, he was the one that was selling the cigarettes and tried to break up the fight, and then they choked him to death. So he was watching that interview. Back to Sydney showing up, and she knocking on the window. I'm here to see my mother, Eva Fletcher. And the lady was like, okay, well, hold on, honey. So the lady walked away. So then she goes to the next window. Bam, bam, bam. Did you hear me? I'm here to see my mother, Eva Fletcher. I'm like, girl, they're going to be the rest of you. So the lady said, look, I checked on your mom 30 minutes ago, and she was doing fine. And if you just give me a minute, I'll go check and see what's going on. So Sydney goes out and tells Jason that, he can go. She's going to be there a while. But the district attorney, remember the tall, skinny black lady with the short blonde hair? She was there. And so she was basically telling Sydney that she won't be able to represent her mom because now she's the district attorney. But she got a guy from her old firm who has agreed to take on the case, and he's going to represent the mother. So basically, when they finally get in to see Eva, she's telling Eva, I can't be in here because I'm the district attorney, and if the charges stand, then I'm going to have to be in charge of the prosecution, and so it could be like a conflict of interest. So let's hurry up and get through this. So basically, they were telling Eva, what the charges are, but because of, everything that was going on, the atmosphere, who she is, they're willing to make it all go away and drop the charges, but Eva has to agree not to sue them or whatever. And Eva's like, hell to the no, I'm not doing that. So the whole while she's in there talking to them, the police chief guy who arrested her, and that's the other thing, like, will the police chief be out on the prowl, like arresting people, pulling people over traffic stops, or would he be at the police station? So that was a little confusing. But anyway, he's staring at Eva, being like this intimidating force. And I'm just like, really? Is this what we doing right now? So they get Eva. I think she ended up having to spend the night. And while she was in the cell, this, Big Bertha came along, tried to steal her shoes. So Eva talked to her and told her that when she get out, when they release her, she'll get a woman the shoes. But she ain't going to be in there fighting over no shoes because she just too pissed off and she might hurt this woman. So the lady agreed that she'll take the shoes. When Eva gets ready to leave, so it's the next day, they're leaving the police station. Eva ain't got her shoes on, so I guess she was a woman of her word. And they get her out of jail. But back at the campus, Diamond, Dr. Diamond, who's over the band, he's having trouble with his horn section. And he's like telling the kids they ain't ready. And so he decides to go back to Ebony and ask Ebony if she wants to join the Philharmonic band. So I guess they're like an orchestra that doesn't perform at the football games. And, Ebony cuss him out and tell him no, hell to no. And then Ebony's dad ends up coming to the campus. And, because he says that he could tell, things weren't right with her and he wanted to talk to her. So that she tells him about Dr. Diamond, asking her to rejoin the band. And she kind of sounded like she wanted to do it, but she wanted to see how her father felt about it. So then when the dad was supposed to be leaving, he actually went to see Dr. Diamond and told Dr. Diamond, don't ever talk to my daughter again. And Dr. Diamond tried to apologize and said that, despite everything that happened, it was all messed up. He should have came to the dad first before going to Ebonie. He still wanted Ebonie to realize her dream of why she came to college, and it just didn't make sense for her to be there and to have all that talent and not be able to exercise that talent. But the dad was like, no, she's not joining the band. And then speaking of Miss Ebonie, there was a scene earlier on with Cedric and Browen. So Browen is just so clingy and just so insecure that she's driving Cedric away. So Cedric had wanted her to listen to some music he had made, and when she went to listen to the music, she got upset because it was a song about, what was the girl named Chantel, the one that died, his girlfriend from Chicago that was killed. So it was a song about him, and so she was like, well, your girlfriend's been dead, why are you still making music about her? So Cedric was like, who are you to tell me how long I can grieve? And so she was just all upset. Then she told him that, you just made this song. I saw it on the, I checked the log to see when it was saved. And it was like 2 weeks ago, so he was like, why are you going through my stuff? So two of them, they decide that, he over it, he's sick of her. So she leaves. So in between that and them finding out that Eva got arrested and all this stuff, him and Ebonie end up hooking up and having sex. Why, Ebonie? Why? Why? So then Browen decides that she was wrong and she wants to apologize. So she comes in to apologize, and then she's asking Cedric, why do you still have on the same clothes you had on yesterday? Like, what's going on? Talk to me. I need to know. So he was like, how do you come over and apologize and say that you were wrong, that you were being too clingy, and then start questioning me about where I've been? So at that point, I think they hugged, and then she told him he smelled funny. Like, what's that smell? What's on you? And he was like, I can't take it no more. You suffocating me. You driving me crazy. So Browen says, if you can't tell me where you've been, why you still got them same clothes on, then I guess we're done for real. So then she storms out. Then Cedric's sitting there looking like, well, dang, I really like Browen. She's my type. She's a light-skinned, cute girl. Then I got Ebonie over here, who's my homie, and we really shouldn't have crossed that line. So he's like, I can't win for losing. So then he goes and visits Eva, and so he's trying to talk to Eva and telling Eva about he's making this CD and it's going to be centered around his arrest, and he wants to tie the two together. But Eva, she's so self-absorbed, she ain't really trying to pay him no attention. And I think she finally told him, you were given a second chance, it could have ended differently, use that second chance for good. And so he was like, basically I'm going to go move forward with the CD. So when the show was going off, we realized that it was Cedric that was sitting there with the hoodie on that was watching the interview with Eric Garner's mother. And I'm trying to think what else happened. Basically, Sydney and Madison, they're kind of like mending their fences because the kids showed up at the police station when Eva was going to be released. And so when they were rushing to the car, Sydney yelled over to Madison to come on and get in the car. And then there was a couple of times throughout the show when the dude, is his name Jude? I gotta find that boy name. But anyway, where he kept going to Madison, trying to talk to Madison about Sydney and saying that he's concerned about Sydney. But he's kind of like borderline becoming stalkerish. Like, I know he really likes Sydney and wants what's best for her, but I hope it doesn't turn into a situation where we done went from dealing with rape to dealing with somebody being a stalker. So I don't know how that's going to work out, or maybe he's going to end up saving her from Jason, and that'll be the tension or whatever. But that was pretty much the premise of the show, was Eva getting arrested, Roland Martin being on campus, Eva saying that she's going to pursue the case, and then we had a scene for next week where the police chief is going to be like following her and telling her that she wants it all to go away. And though she was trying to get the dash cam video, but it was taking a long time to get it released. And she was like, well, it's been 12 hours. But the lawyer was telling her that, you know, it's going to take more than 12 hours because they don't like to turn over the dash cam because they don't want people to know how their officers are acting. So, guys, that's it for me. If I forgot anything, please leave it in the comments. Let's talk about this episode. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.